Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than game time decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It just goes to show you how special this guy is, and I can't figure out why he doesn't cut through like the Tiger Woods of the world in that kind of dominant fashion in years past.
He stepped up to the tee box on the 14th hole, and he was 60-1 to win that golf tournament. You know, he was trailing by 6 shots, and he comes out on top.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. Kickoff is on calm before the storm once again, although I can't wait until we start playing college football on Tuesday and Wednesday nights once again. Let's just be real. There should be football on 7 days a week, but we've got a lot of other stuff going on as well, including MLS soccer. That's right. MLS soccer takes center stage this evening. Let's throw a pick at you right now. We're going to parlay LAFC. LAFC are hosting Austin. LAFC are battling for the top spot right now in the Western Conference, a very competitive Western Conference. So LAFC still playing for something right now. Austin, an average to mediocre club this year, and San Jose are an absolutely terrible soccer team. They're in Seattle tonight. Now, I think you could probably lay a goal and a half if you want with Seattle, but they're like minus 300 favorites on the money line in this game. The Sounders, I parlayed LAFC to win. They're at home, and Seattle to win. It's minus 122 right now. So there's a little MLS parlay, and we'll keep our eye on the MLS soccer. We've got WNBA playoffs are starting this weekend. That's kind of rapidly flying under the radar and sneaking up on us right now. Tonight is the final night of regular season play in the WNBA. Most of the games, most of the teams, they're only deciding the 8th and final spot right now for the playoffs. So most of the teams were in rest mode this evening. But a little bit later on, we'll take a look at the numbers for the WNBA playoffs. I can tell you that the New York Liberty are big favorites, are heavy favorites to win the championship, despite the fact that the Aces are back-to-back champions. I think the Aces, you know, it's hard to judge the Aces just on the regular.
There there is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market has eyeing.
The definition of a false start. Let's roll. So as I was saying, Major League Baseball. We got Major League Baseball going on here. Some pretty big-time games and important games. Teams are battling right now for the wild card. Philadelphia Phillies and the Milwaukee Brewers are in action as we speak. 1-1 in this baseball game. End of the eighth inning late. The Detroit Tigers. Listen, the Tigers are coming on here and not going away. We talked about this briefly last night. There's not a ton of racetrack left on the Major League Baseball diamond right now. So these games are like super serious. The Yankees and Mariners, the Mariners kind of are all but done. They don't have a lot of room for error. Last night was a massive setback in the standings for the Seattle Mariners. The Detroit Tigers, though, beating the Royals 4-2. Cardinals are destroying the Pirates in a game that doesn't matter, and the Texas Rangers and the Toronto Blue Jays are playing. All right, so countdown to kickoff is on. Brady Cannon's going to step up and in. We got Paul Bovey in the house, Ian Cameron and Cam Stewart. You know how we roll on the Wicked Wednesday. So we got a full house. And, of course, Thursday Night Football, the New England Patriots visit MetLife Stadium, the New York Jets. The Jets are laying 6 points. The total is 38.5 in this game. And, you know, the Patriots have been one of the surprise teams so far, right? Yeah, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks, but this, you know what, this is where the odds makers aren't always right? The odds makers had the Patriots listed to, the shortest odds to be the worst team in the National Football League this year. There's still a lot of football left, but they look like far from the worst team in the league. But even though it's a bad travel spot for the New York Jets, this is their third game in 11 days. They flew to San Francisco. They go back home. Like, if you add up the miles, nobody's traveled more than the Jets have this early in the season. I'm starting to feel like this is a Patriot trap, actually. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to lay points. We see, we just saw saw the other night, similar point spread in the 5.5 and the 6 range, and we saw what happened. I know the underdogs have been barking, but I sort of feel like this is a Patriot trap by taking the Pats here. Their offense is limited, and it should be noted they lost their best defensive player, their leading tackler for the season last week, all right? Losing Bentley's a big deal. And the game changed when he wasn't in the game after he left against Seattle. People always talk about the offensive side of the football and injuries, but defense counts too. So we'll get into this. I look forward to seeing what Brady Cannon has to say, what Paul Bovey has to say about these games, including the Circa Survivor chaos that's going on. I saw that Derek Stevens, shout out to Derek Stevens, but I saw that Derek Stevens, he's got a Circa Survivor empathy package, literally and figuratively. And, I love Derek and stuff, and I think it's a great idea, but I don't understand, and I literally do find it frustrating that if you suck at something, you get rewarded for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sportsbooks will do this. Sportsbooks will do this where if you make a ridiculously stupid bet, I took the Columbus Blue Jackets to win the Stanley Cup. Well, we're going to refund everybody and give them a bonus that took the Columbus Blue Jackets to win the Stanley Cup this year. So if you've already been knocked out of the Circus Survivor, they're going to give you a two-night free stay at the Circa, which is generally like $300, $500, $600 a night. The Circa's not a cheap place to stay. So you being bad and losing, you get rewarded. Like, to me, they should say, you know what, 70% plus of the field have already been eliminated. So as a bonus to people that are still alive, we're going to give you 2 nights. Somehow, like the people that are still in the contest, they don't get anything. But if you sucked after 2 weeks and you're already out, you get 2 free nights at a hotel. Like, how does this make sense? Like, you want to talk about social welfare program? Like, seriously, what the hell's going on? I've never, we all know why they do it. You're going to go back, you're going to stay, you're going to spend money, right? But it's one of these instances where in the sports industry, right, they'll always refund somebody for like something ridiculously stupid too, like sports books in the modern era. But they'll never refund somebody that a brutal bad beat and lost by half a point on the final play of the game, right? So, this little let's hook up people that lose, I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I don't really, I find it to be insulting to people that are actually, that should get a bonus. So if you lose in 2 weeks, do you get an empathy package too? At what point does this empathy package stop? It's a great property, and we love Derek Stevens, but as someone on the other side, on the winning side so far, I'm not a fan of giving the losers 2 free nights in a hotel. But that's just me. So we'll get into the survivor situation. There's a couple of there's more than a couple of games that are sort of attractive, but all those games sort of have stigmas around them as well, I would say, right? All right, the Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, the Carolina Panthers are terrible, but the Panthers just made a quarterback change. Will Eddie Dalton make that big of a difference? He might, just getting rid of the ball quicker. Raiders coming off an upset victory. The New York Giants are freaking terrible, all right? But do you trust the Cleveland Browns with $14.2 million on the line unless you have to? A lot of interesting questions. Let's rock. This is SportsRage.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Gabriel Morency. Let's do this thing. The Pitts, the Players, the Hustlers, the people to bust them, and everybody else in between. A lot of stuff to get to, so let's bring in Cam Stewart and Brady Cannon right now. Brady, good to see you. Cam, good to see you. Brady, I was just talking about the the Circa Survivor chaos. And, I guess it's par for the course. I think last year, basically 70% were out after 3 weeks, but it's been 2 weeks, and it's just been, one massive upset after another. Ravens losing to the Raiders, the Bengals losing to the Patriots, amongst other upsets along the way. I got to tell you, Brady, it's 2 weeks in, and I'm still alive. But due to the sheer shock of this, I'm thinking, man, I'm not going to make 20 weeks of this at this rate. It feels like it's like
you're shaking in your boots.
Everyone's falling off the skyscraper around me. I'm like, yeah, I'm hanging on tight, but I don't know. Like, really? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this. But hey,
I wish I was in your shoes, man. Congratulations. I'm glad for you. We do our football contest show, of course, James Salinas and Mike Pritchard and myself. We had 3 Circa Survivor entries. We lost with the Bengals in week 1. We're okay with that. We still were alive on 2. We pushed all our chips in week 2 on the Ravens. They're up by 10 points in the fourth quarter. We know what happened. I mean, the Ravens, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Detroit Lions. You mentioned the Bengals in week 1. Every underdog of 5 points or greater so far this season is 9-1 against the spread, and 5 of them have won outright. And if you look at the Circa Sports Million, your 5 picks against the spread, the top 10 picks, 2 weeks, the consensus 5 for 2 weeks now is 1-9. So, I mean, we're a game, or I think we're a game above 500, or I guess we're 500, 5-5 or something like that in Circa Sports Million. And we're like in the top 25 in the contest, because the majority has gone 1-9 the first couple of weeks. So it's not just Survivor, but people struggling against the spread as well.
And I think this will be a theme for the entire season. I think, people will get on, into a groove eventually, but it's unpredictable. These teams are all very evenly matched. You can't assume anything. There's going to be injuries along the way as well. So, and we'll get to the interesting, you talked about that point spread range, because, you got the spread tomorrow at 6.5, 6 I'm seeing right now, but a 6 in front of me. But as far as the Survivor this week, it's never easy, right? But you've got the Jets are 6-point favorites against the Patriots. I don't think the Jets will be a very popular Survivor pick. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are an intriguing one, but the Buccaneers also played the Panthers twice. Right this year, right? They've got other games down the road. That's an interesting one. The Raiders, I'm sure some people have been alive to their strategy just by picking against the Carolina Panthers. But now you get the Raiders coming off that big win. The New York Giants, to me, I think literally are one of the worst teams in the NFL. But do you trust the Cleveland Browns in this spot? Do the Giants have an upset in them? Week 3 is always tricky to me, Cam and Brady, but what do you think about the Survivor pool this week, Brady, of choices on the board here?
I just looked at the map I had spelled out, which I can throw away, I guess, at this point. But for week 3, I had the New York Jets down as one of my selections. I had the Jets, the Browns, and the Bengals as the 3 picks, because we had 3 entries. So I mapped a path out for each of our 3 entries. But I think I like the Jets the best. The Bengals, I'm not so sure. I mean, I know the Commanders are really lacking defensively, but Jaden Daniels is tough to defend. I don't think the Bengals are that great. I don't think they're as good as they showed us last week against the Chiefs, and I think they're a little bit better than what they showed us in week 1 against the Patriots. They're somewhere in between, which is pretty mediocre. I don't think they deserve to be 8-point favorites. I made the game 4.5. The Jets and the Patriots, I made the game 4.5 here as well. It's 6. So again, from a betting perspective, I would look at the Patriots here, but I do believe the Jets will win the game. And the Cleveland Browns, they're in a spot where they won outright as an underdog, and now they come back into the role of the favorite. It can be a tough situation to deal with. So if I had to make one pick right now for Circa Survivor, I'd take the New York Jets. I think they pull it off. And with Joe Ranieri earlier today, he's going to go with the Jets too. And that Thursday game, something attractive about it, Gabe. You either win or you get it out. It's nice to be done quickly like that. I think there's something to pick a game too.
I'm a big Thursday night attacker in the pick 5 contests, which a lot of people don't like doing. Like, and I don't mind the Sunday nighters either, sort of those prime time games that people like to stay away from. But you're right. I love getting that win under your belt, although it blew up on me because I took the Packers on the Friday night. And I was feeling pretty good about it in the fourth quarter against the Eagles. And similar situation, Brady, and I'm in the Super Contest. And, dude, I went 1-4 in week 1 in the Super Contest. And this past week, I went 4-0-1. Right. And I looked at the standings for the first time, and I was very surprised as well, Brady. I didn't have to scroll for as further down as I thought I would for my name.
Yeah.
That's how you how far you have to scroll. I kind of did a couple of 2-page, whatever, little scroll. I was like, oh, there's my name. I was like, man,
We
really
were at
kind
the
of
top
not that
last
far
year,
off,
Gabe.
actually, at 5-4-1. You know what I mean?
I think the
That's a great
consensus. I
comeback.
talk about the first 10 picks of the year in the circa millions consensus being 1-9. I think in the Super Contest they're 4-6. So there are a couple games under 500 as well.
I've said that for years. I remember the old days, like 20 years ago, it used to be a big thing, and people would wait with bated breath. What are the consensus 5? And they were actually pretty good. You know what I mean, Cameron Brady? I'm talking when there was 400 or 500 people in the Super Contest.
Yeah, right. But now when you
over
got
the last
1,000
couple
or
of
bunch,
years,
I mean, you're going to have typically you want to go against the consensus.
It's a fade. It's a fade.
Totally,
the consensus
totally
is a fade.
1-9 in circa. It's unbelievable. They went 0-5 last week. Yeah.
And, just because, Cam, you have a bunch of entries and all this, some of these people, I realized that about the Survivor, too. The contest was so big, Cam, it attracted dead money, too. Let's just be real.
Very good call.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Drunk guys, hey, I'm rich. I'm going to get into this. I don't really know what I'm doing, but hey, let's go with this. And, you know what I mean?
Gabe, you got positive EV. You got positive EV immediately because there's about 70 people that haven't turned a pick in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, another 22 in week 2 didn't put a pick in after week 1.
Why? Just give us the money.
Got to do it.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. So I was thinking, I even said it out loud. I'm like, man, how am I going to win with 1 ticket only in this thing, in this Circus Survivor? And point blank, I wouldn't have had 5 or 10, right? So let's just say I would have done 2. And or I would have had two. I would have been eliminated in one of them too. I would have taken Baltimore for sure if I had multiple injuries. Although I did sort of like I've been good. Like the Cincinnati, I never considered it. Last week, Baltimore, I even tweeted out in the morning. I said, this game is going to really sweat people out, man. I swear, Brady, I remembered off the top of my head the Raiders going into Baltimore. It was like last year or 2 years ago. And Lamar Jackson needed to save them. And the Raiders weren't even great at the time either. It was just, I don't trust Todd Monken. Let me throw what else out there at you guys too. Although, you don't really want to use them this early in the year, but San Francisco really should beat the Rams this week. With all, I know the Niners have some injuries, but the Rams are depleted, man. Like the Rams, really sort of have nobody to roll out on the field.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, the Rams are as injured as anybody. Yeah, it has a little bit.
It's shocking to me. I thought it'd go up to 8. San Francisco owns these guys. The Rams are thin. San Francisco's coming off a loss. I think it's a great spot for the Niners to lay the smackdown on these guys, and they're going to be angry this week. The Rams got a lot of issues, man. Major injuries.
I was surprised it opened 7, Gabe. I made the number 5. You guys know I'm a Niner fan. I usually have my finger on the pulse of this team pretty good. They're injured too. There's no Debo in this game, no McCaffrey for another week. I thought there was one other guy that was missing possibly for the Niners as well. I can't recall off the top of my head. But I don't think I would use them here. Division game on the road. The Rams are desperate. The Rams are a desperate team right now. And I know they're probably more injured than anybody else in the NFL right now. It's going to be really hard for Los Angeles, but I don't think I'd go there yet. I'd probably wait until the Niners had a home game against a team like the Cardinals or, something like that. And not that the Cardinals are bad, but I would certainly want to play them at home rather on the road.
Well, somebody like you said, when you're in these contests, I know the schedule better than I ever have, Brady. Normally, in 2 weeks, I can tell you normally who the Bills are playing. The Bills are playing this team and that team and then that team and this team or Michigan. But now I'm you just said San Francisco. I was going to say, San Francisco play the Patriots next week at home. Just saying.
There you go. There you go. Now,
just saying. Patriots coming off a Thursday night game. They go to the Bay Area next week. So as far as this game tomorrow, I think, guys, it's one of those, you look at the Patriots and, all right, they won outright as a dog on the road against Cincinnati. They were very competitive against Seattle, but their offense was pretty challenged against Seattle. Third down conversions were a problem. The passing attack was limited. There was a lot of little just Hunter Henry stuff, quick hits. The Jets defense is really good. I'm starting to get the feeling, it's sort of a gut feel, that the Patriots sort of have a bad game in them coming up here. They really gave it their all in these first 2 games. You got a short week. But as you stated, Brady, these numbers about what you say, underdogs at 5-6, etc., they've been cashing religiously so far this year. And you got a short week. It's a division rivalry. The Patriots do have a good defense. But then I get to Jawan Bentley being injured. Guys, he had 114 tackles last year. He's their best defensive player. And it did make a difference when he was out of the football game. And normally MetLife is such a negative place, right? The Giants are terrible. And look, Jones is getting heckled in the parking lot, etc. The Jet fans are normally just beaten down and there to get drunk and they don't expect anything. Now they do. They're going to be fired up tomorrow, Cam, in that stadium. Remember, Aaron Rodgers only played 4 plays last year. Came out with the flag. I can sort of see the Jets having their 15 seconds in the sun here tomorrow night.
I'm kind of with
when
you
the Patriots, 24-13, 27, it gets away. Not a blowout, but it gets away from the Jets guys a bit, from the Pats, in my opinion.
And you guys know, the Patriots are a public dog, Gabe. We do have done a lot of shows, and everyone's ooh, look at the excessive points with the Patriots. And, it's one of those situations where I'm thinking,
you can't take them every week. I've taken them 2 weeks in a row. It's like robbing the same bank 3 weeks in a row. I can't just take the Patriots every week. I feel like it's a trap.
It's a
the odds makers and a lot of the sharps around, not everybody was completely wrong in the offseason. I think the Patriots are still not a very good team, and I think the Jets are a pretty good team. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 3 or 4 point game, but I think the New York Jets get a win. I think you make a great point. Home opener, Aaron Rodgers back healthy this year. I do believe the Jets will pull it out. If I had to bet it with the points, I'd take the dog. But Survivor, I like the Jets as a play.
Hard to lay 6 points with a Nate Hackett coach team, man. I can tell you.
That's hard to do.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So as I was saying, man, week 3 to me, guys, is really tough because we really don't know who these teams are still, right? So you're sort of, are they week 1? Are they week 2? No, we don't think the Patriots are still all that good, which leads me into the New Orleans Saints, guys. I like to soak everything up that I can, and this is an interesting one. Since 2017, there have been 57 quarterbacks in the NFL to start the season 2-0. 39 of them have made the playoffs. Only one guy in the NFL has gone 2-0 to start a season more than once and not make the playoffs either time. Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Derek Carr has started off 2-0 3 times, Brady, before. All right? And not made the playoffs. So I'm just saying. I'm just throwing this out there. But we'll also throw in there, the only 2 teams to score 40 points in the first 2 games of the year both won the Super Bowl. Just for the record. Yeah,
because
so the
it's
Cowboys,
an interesting trend. It's been a trend in the NFL for years. Teams that score 40 or more points for 2 weeks in a row are typically a real fade in that follow-up week. And they're, the point is they're not going to go through the roof and score 40 something.
The Saints are like one of the best offenses in the history of the NFL, right? They're going to send. Imagine, Cam, they do this. Fastest show on turf, Brady, since the Rams with Holt and Bruce and Falk. That's this New Orleans offense.
It's really shocking when you talk to a lot of people in football because the Saints offensive line is not supposed to be good, but they've dominated teams. Like they were pushing Dallas off the ball. I know the Cowboys are a little bit undersized, but that's the thing that shocked me with the Saints. It's like a lot of guys, they're buying in, they're overachieving. Camaro's been on fire. It's like we talk about things in the robot, like, oh, my algorithms tell me this and this. It's also humans playing the game, and they look like they're having a lot of fun out there with this new offense. Like these guys are really gelling, and they're kicking the crap out of people. I don't care if it's Carolina. I don't care if it's Dallas. They look great. 2 weeks
that
in.
rookie Fuaga on that offensive line has been really good.
Huge.
Now he's a little bit banged up. He was questionable going into last week, and he was limited in practice today. So you got to keep an eye on him. But yeah, he's been excellent.
Yeah. So what do you think about that game with the Saints and the Eagles, Brady? Are you willing to buy in to the Eagles coming off the Monday night loss?
Well, you make a great point that we just don't really know yet. And that's where I kind of feel about the New Orleans Saints. I'm not sold yet. They beat the Carolina Panthers. Okay, who cares? We kind of know what they are. And they took care of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know if we know what they are yet. They certainly caught them in a flat spot. Maybe Dallas was feeling a little bit fat and happy after that big win on the road. They come back home where I think they'd won like 16 in a row or something like that. And okay, I mean, I'll give every team at least one pass, and I'll give the Cowboys a pass on that. But now, I mean, I made my numbers. I didn't even look at the look-ahead line. I don't like to look at anything. I walk in on Tuesday, and I just start going, okay, calculating the numbers and come up with a point spread. I made the Eagles a 1-point favorite. And it comes out that the Saints are, 2.5, 3. I grabbed the full 3. I think I had to pay minus 115 with the Eagles plus the 3 points. But I think the Eagles win this game outright. And I'm not all in on Philadelphia either. I think they're certainly a second-tier team in this league. And I think New Orleans probably is too. But I just don't see the Saints being favored here. Dennis Allen and Derek Carr are the worst coach-quarterback combination in the NFL as a favorite against the number. And I think it catches them here.
Brady Cannon in the house with us, Cam Stewart, Will as well. Tampa, very impressive win last week against Detroit. Now Detroit going to Arizona. This is another really fascinating game about who are these teams. Can Arizona pull this off again? I want to take them, but I sort of have a weird feeling like, it's asking a lot here for Arizona. It's a tricky week in my opinion, but let's get to some golf. And so we got the Live Team Golf Championship, BMW Championships, and the countdown to the President's Cup is on right now. And I actually see Kyle Porter, who's a very good golf writer. I like reading his stuff, and says, is the United States in trouble at the 2024 President's Cup? Interesting, because they're big favorites. That's coming up next week. But Brady, what do you think about this week's golf card?
Well, yeah, I think this Live team competition is really interesting. And Cam knows we hit John Rahm last week at the Live Chicago, the individual championship round. Rahm is the hottest player on this circuit right now and one of the hottest players in the entire golf world. He's won 2 out of the last 3 Live tournaments, and I can't get off the guy. I'm going to go with him here again. He captains the Legion 13 team, and his running mate is Tyrrell Hatton, who's also been red hot, won in Nashville a couple months ago, just finished 4th at Live Chicago. So that 2-headed monster right there, they're the favorite to win it this week. And I went with him. Rahm was the favorite last week, and I landed correctly on him. I'm going to land on Rahm and the favorite again this week at 3-1. And then I went a little further down the board to Sergio's team, Fireballs Golf Club at 12-1. Sergio, maybe outside of John Rahm, has been the hottest player on the Live Tour this year. Outstanding. Abraham Answer's on his team. He's won this year. David Puig is on his team. Had an excellent week a month ago or so in Spain. He's been a very good player. What I also like about Rahm and Hatton and Sergio, great match play players, good Ryder Cup history. And part of this team competition is a lot of match play. They're going to play match play on Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday is all stroke play. So I just basically went with some hot players that are towards the top of the board where they may have a little bit of an advantage. John Rahm and Sergio Garcia leading my card.
I got to tell you guys, Gabe, what Liv is doing is amazing. Their strategies and stuff is actually, a lot of the stuff they're doing is better than the PGA Tour, but the thing is, not everybody's into it. Like, they've been very creative, and I think the PGA has to look at these guys and go, you know what? Maybe we could take a couple of these ideas and change the formats. I know we have one, Brady, the Zurich is now a team competition, but match play is huge, and people in Europe love it, and it's awesome. It brings out, the passion of golf, the personality, instead of, like, who cares about Patton Kazire winning last week? Like, you know what I mean? It's
and the staggered scoring at the Tour Championship, that doesn't work. And the leaders, the top 3 teams get a bye. They don't have to play until Saturday. I think the combination of the bye, the match play, and the alternate shot and everything going on, you're right, Cam. It's creative, And for on paper, it looks a heck of a lot better than the Tour Championship.
It does.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it as much as you guys.
Let's like it. I'm just saying, at least let's try it, Gabe. At least they're trying it.
Guy. I like my golf boring. All right.
I gotta be honest though, Gabe. The Tour Championship with the lead, the staggered start.
No.
Like,
But what I'm going to say is though, the sports books should put the golfers beside, because I'm looking here. I don't know who the hell they are.
That's
Legion, Crushers, Ripper, Smash, Fireball. So you said Fireball is Garcia.
Fireball is Sergio and Abraham Answer.
You got to worry about your survivor.
How the hell am I supposed to know this?
Exactly.
So I got to look it up and go, okay, who's Team Smash? Was that a wrestling? WWE Tag Team Smash.
Demolition. Yeah, I got to tell you, Cannon scores.
You got Team Stinger? Who's Team Stinger, Ken? I'll put you on the spot. Who's Team Stinger? 14-1.
That's Louis Oosthuizen, I believe. Louis Oosthuizen. That's a South African team. Oosthuizen, Brandon Grace, Charles Schwartzel. I believe that's Team Stinger. The Crushers is DeChambeau and Paul Seeger, or not, and Paul Casey, rather.
Of course, DeChambeau calls his team the Crushers. Of course, the Crushers.
Of course he does, right? What else is he crushing?
Isn't Mickelson the four aces? Is Mickelson the four aces? I think I know that.
Yeah, Patrick Reed's on that.
And then the Ripper is the Australian team. That's Cam Smith and Leishman and Matt Jones and stuff like that. So those are
why in Australia?
Teams. Yeah, it's a Ripper.
Okay, we know because of Mick Aussie. When they say it's going to be a really good game, it's going to be a Ripper. So it means they're really good. It's going to be a Ripper. All right? And it sounds good. Grip
You're
it,
right,
rip
though,
it.
Gabe.
See, there's a better name for it.
Everybody
Grip it and rip it. There you go.
Yeah, grip and rip it. I'm with you. You got to put the names on, though. Too much. It's NFL season. People can't be doing that much research. Make it easy for them. Come on.
How much handle you get when you don't even list the players?
Exactly.
Well,
good point.
Like I said, I don't know. Team Smash. I don't know what the hell that is.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Always great talking football and golf with Brady Cannon. Sirius XM channel 159 SportsGrid Radio. and television networks. All right, let's bring in Paul Bovey right now, who has no interest in the MLS soccer that's going on. But let me just do a quick check. So I gave the parlay as the show started. I said that I'm taking LAFC to beat Austin and Seattle to beat San Jose, and it's minus 122. Yeah, it's a little squarish, but I don't know if people realize this. The San Jose Earthquakes have won 2 games this year.
Oh, they're horrible.
They're bad. They're like the White Sox type of bad. They're like one of the worst MLS teams ever. So you can lay a goal and a half if you want, but I parlayed them with LAFC. LAFC, of course, are an elite team. They're battling for the top spot in the Western Conference right now with the LA Galaxy, who have been a surprise this year. Galaxy and Timbers are in action in Portland. We're off and running. It just started. Portland are plus 120. The Galaxy are plus 175. Real Salt Lake, Cam's favorite team, are up 2-1 on FC Dallas right now.
Get Real. Gabe, it was a chalky parlay with Celtic and PSG in Champions League, but it came through at minus 118. That's the thing. Did you see Bayern Munich too, buddy? 9 goals, setting a record. Oh, my God. Hope you had the over. Fantastic stuff.
I was on. Yeah, I won. I didn't bet the Champs League stuff today, but I did yesterday, Cam. I was on. I had a Bayern Munich minus 1.5. I should have played like minus 3.5. Got a better price for 6.5.
30 to 1, minus 6.5.
Yeah, and I took that minus 1.5, and I took Madrid to win. It was a minus 110 parlay.
Madrid they won 5-1, Gabe. They look good, real good.
Cam likes to set himself up for misery being a Ranger fan. Like, they got a big chance of winning the Champs League, Cam. I'm kidding. Let's bring in Paul Bovey. Boy, Rangers are going to win the Champs League. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring Paul Bovey. New York Rangers might win. I don't know about I don't know about
Glasgow Rangers.
Let's bring in Paul Bovey right now. Good to see you, Paul. How you doing tonight?
Hey, good to see you guys. I'm doing fine. I really dialed into the NFL this week. I think I got a lot of good plays. It was choppy last week. I'm not gonna lie. It was choppy. I did like the Saints, but if somebody would have said to you in advance Dallas was going to score 19 points, would you think the under was in play? Yes. Unfortunately, it wasn't. The Saints just lit it up. And I heard you guys talking a few minutes ago as to whether the Saints could continue this onslaught of points into this week. And I actually think they can. They look terrific, by the way. They really did.
And honestly, Paul, exactly. I don't want to be that guy to just sort of, jump on the same bandwagon now like this and tell they're great when we all thought they were going to be a bad football team. But they really are playing well for real. And I wonder about Philadelphia's secondary, to be honest. We just saw Kirk Cousins pick them apart. We saw, we saw various breakdowns against the Green Bay Packers. So it seems to me that if you just sort of want to attack the Philadelphia Eagles, like the Eagles before Cam, they were known for stopping the run. The Eagles can't stop the run or the pass right now suddenly. We just saw the Falcons blow them off the line of scrimmage. The Eagles' defensive line got no pass rush whatsoever at all. And you got Kamara. The offensive line is playing great. People forget Chris Olave is a stud wide receiver. Nobody's really figured out what Kubiak is fully doing. Right? He's running his dad's offense for the most part. But, you got a new coordinator here with Clint Kubiak. I'm sort of buying in here with the Saints, and it's kind of an anti-Philly thing for me, Paul. I don't like the way they look to close that game, and I don't know if they can just fix their problems. I think Sirianni's kind of a problem.
He is. Gabe, I agree with you. They have not even stopped the run. They've allowed 6.5 yards per carry. And when you look at the Saints now, it's Shaheed that's getting it done. He's become his favorite target. Alvin Kamara looks fantastic. And I'll tell you, Dallas rang up all of 19 points and a lot of Dak Prescott's yardage, which was 293. It was lucky. It was 2 broken plays. On 1 touchdown, C.D. Lamb somehow split 2 defenders, went in for the score. And on another long completion, it was a dump off to Elliott while he was under extreme duress. And Elliott scampered for like 40, 45 yards. They actually, the final score was totally indicative of how the game played out. They just dominated the Cowboys, who are not a very good team, from start to finish. That NFC East right now looks like a train wreck. It really does. The Cowboys aren't a good team. I did say that last week. I was right on that. And certainly the Eagles have been exposed. I'm worried. I have the Eagles to win the division at great prices. And right now you look and you say, well, who's the best of a bad lot?
I still think Philadelphia is.
Philly, barely.
It's not the Giants, right? They've got, we can get to the Giant game. They got the Browns. Well, we'll see. Daniel Jones says we've got a great football team. There's a lot of football left, so we'll see. If you're buying into what Danny Dimes is saying. But, Paul, you said you like this card this week. It's interesting how we all see it differently. I went 4-0-1 at the Westgate last week in the contest. Like the games. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm getting 7.5 here with Tampa. I can't believe I'm getting this with Zona, etc. Just sort of jumped off the page at me. This week I'm looking and I'm like, man, I don't see 5 I like. I can't lie to you guys. I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh boy. And it's funny because we just had Brady on, and Brady, one of his best bets, he likes the Philadelphia Eagles this week. And I was thinking the opposite. I'm like, I actually have the Saints circled already. Right. So I hear now you talking about the Saints, Paul. What else are you looking at this week? Because I got another one that I'm sitting on that people will be scared to play that game, but I actually like it. But what do you said you like the card this week. What do you like about it?
Well, I sent you over a couple props that I played. And I look, let me just touch on the Cincy-Washington game first. This Cincinnati run defense, the word I would use is deplorable. And now they've got Rankins, who's questionable, Hill, who's questionable. The latter had 51 tackles last year. They lost DJ Reader. And, Pacheco just went through him before he got hurt. He had, I believe, 10 or 11 carries for 80 yards. Collectively, the two lead running backs against the Bengals, which were Stevenson and Pacheco, ran the ball 44 times for 210 yards. There was little or no resistance. So now you've got a game against Washington, and you wonder if Bijan Robinson is going to be able to run the football, and I think he will be able to. I think the masses will definitely be on Cincinnati. They will be the very overwhelmingly popular survivor play, but I don't trust this team. I trust them to win the game. I think Joe Burrow will find a way to exploit this secondary, but I would be taking Washington with the points here. They look good against the Giants. They did not punt the football once. They limited the Giants in the first half to 2 possessions. I actually had the Giant team total over 9.5 in the first half, and somehow I squeaked that one out, but missed the game total, courtesy of an injury to the kicker, as you guys have probably discussed ad nauseum. But it was just totally unfortunate. But
I'm talking to me though. I played football. Like, you can't tell me anybody on the team. So they bring in Gilliam, the Scottish punter, there to kick. He shanks one. Like, there's nobody on the team that could do that. Come on, give me a break.
What about a drop?
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
As their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. We're kicking it. Paul Bovey in the house with us. So, Paul, the New York Giants going to Cleveland this week. You just talked about Cincinnati being a popular survivor pick this week, and no doubt it will be. Are the Bengals really going to be 0-3? Their season seriously is on the line. You got a rookie quarterback going on the road. But I think Cleveland's an attractive survivor pick this week. Not to pick on your New York Giants, but I think this could be it for Dable, actually. Like, if things continue to go poorly, the Maras might just say, you know what, we're getting a new quarterback, we're getting a new coach, we're getting a new GM. They might have to start over again. I'm not guaranteeing that, but or am I seeing this wrong? What do you think? And it's tough to trust the Browns, though, right? I mean, the Browns were 8-1 at home last year. They're a very good home team. They already lost a home game this year. They did look much better last week on the road against Jacksonville. And in the second half, Paul, even Deshaun Watson was making plays. Like, you could sort of start to see, we're like, oh, there's it. Wow, that's okay. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, he ran out of bounds. He made a couple of nice throws. But they're the Cleveland Browns, bro. But I'll ask you because you're the Giant guy. What do you think about the Giants? Well, Cam, it's true. They're the Browns.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I got $14 million on the line. I'm thinking, I don't know, really. I don't know about the Browns.
Exactly.
Who did you lose with? The Cleveland Browns. It's like, no. It's one of those, if I have to do it, I will, Cam. But I'm not doing it. But what do you think, Paul?
Okay, first of all, I won't take Cleveland in Survivor because after these first 2 weeks of being on the Giants, I would probably off myself if I ended up going against the Giants and they buried my remaining plays in Survivor. So I'm going to leave that one alone and go elsewhere. But I could tell you that they definitely will be bum rushing Daniel Jones, just as they did Trevor Lawrence last week. And he was under constant harassment, duress, and the Jacksonville offense just could not get off. I mean, it was a night and day performance, but Watson completed 7 out of his first 8 passes. He was more than adequate. But remember, this Jaguars defense, they didn't show up against Miami in game 1. They couldn't defend the pass. So I would be very concerned about the Giants here. And I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I do, because I think they'll put pressure on Watson. The number comes in at 38.5. Would I play it here? I'm not sure, but I don't think they're going to score a lot of points, either team, because I think they're going to put Watson under pressure. Look, the Giants have a decent front, and that's their strength. Their secondary, but I think you'll see a lower scoring game.
Agreed.
So we talked about the Philadelphia Eagles secondary the other night, and finally Kirk Cousins on the final drive, 5 of 6, 70 yards down the field, picked them apart. And I was on a Kyle Pitts prop the other night, Paul, over 3.5 receptions. I think, you know what, you want to talk about momentum. You can't have more momentum ending that game, getting on the plane, going back home now, getting ready for the Sunday nighter. And I see you've got some of these players circled for Sunday night's game. Kyle Pitts, over under 3.5 receptions. You got a 36.5 receiving yards for Pitts. We've been waiting years for the Falcons to get Kyle Pitts involved in this offense. Do you think they'll continue to do so? And I guess you do, since you're taking them.
This is a really attractive number. I will tell you why. The Chiefs have been sliced and diced, carved up by the opposing tight ends. Do you know, in the Cincinnati game, the trio of Bengal receivers, tight ends, had 9 receptions for 111 yards just in the first half. And you go back to the first game, and likely for the game had 9 receptions for 111 yards.
And
the
Paul,
Chiefs
young
just
guys too. Other than Gesicki, these are kids that just came out too. They're those 2 guys, Gabe, for the Bengals. Like they're fresh. Like the kid from Princeton and the other guy. Like that's the thing. The Chiefs give up a lot of yards to tight ends. A lot.
They do. And the thing with Atlanta is they don't have the 3-headed monster. They only have Kyle Pitts. So you're asking the guy to get 4 receptions and only go over a minimal number, 36.5, which he could easily have in the first half. And unless they keep him in for blocking, I don't see how this doesn't go over. I think the number was mispriced to start, and I think this should be 44. So And this happens occasionally. Look, they post a number. They don't really assess the competition sometimes. They take just a basic average, and that's what happens.
All right, we'll hit the Indianapolis Colts and the Chicago Bears game and more on the other side. This is Sports Rage.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and what the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. Level 2. Let's do this thing. All right, so I talked about the Colts and Bears, and I wanted to get to the NBA jerseys. The NBA season's creeping up on us because the NHL season's starting in less than 2 weeks' time, or in about 2 weeks' time. Now, 2 Fridays from now, the NHL season starts, but the NBA season around the corner. But so the Chicago Bears, Paul, played Sunday Night Football. They were pretty competitive, actually. Their defense really gave Houston a lot of problems. Let's just call it off what it is. Houston made plays, but there were a lot of third down conversions. It wasn't easy for them. Chicago had the ball late in the football game. So now Chicago go into Indianapolis coming off that loss at Green Bay. And you're looking at DeAndre Swift to have a big day here, Paul, as I see you pull the trigger a couple of times. DeAndre Swift over 52.5 rushing yards.
So this is a 1,000-yard rusher. And right now, whatever Chicago has gotten accomplished offensively has been without a running game because Swift has amassed all of 48 yards on 24 carries. But this is a great spot to get off against an Indy defense, which could do nothing against Green Bay and Josh Jacobs, who just sliced and diced them. And eventually they clamped down on the run in the second half, and they were just selling out. Malik Willis went 11 of 13, I believe, for 122 yards. The guy coming into the game was 35 of 66, no touchdowns and 3 picks. So he had a completely breakout career game against this team. And then they lose DeForest Buckner with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they could ill afford to lose him with a run defense that couldn't stop Joe Mixon to the tune of 30 carries for 159 yards, couldn't stop Josh Jacobs. And I just think that they're going to try to get Swift off right here, and they should. And so the Bears should be a lot better offensively, because when you're working without a running game whatsoever, it certainly is going to hinder the passing game. So I'm looking for the Bears to win this game against an Indy team which has issues. And Anthony Richardson has been far from accurate, and I think the defense is going to struggle.
You know what? DeForest Buckner, he's one of the more underrated players in the NFL, Paul. Like when he's like their TJ Watt, like when he's not there, they don't win. They can, like you said, good eye by you picking and isolating them because they won't be able to stop the run. And we saw that. We just saw that against the Green Bay Packers this past week. And as far as Willis, what a difference Matt LaFleur makes, right? Understands, all right, this is what he can do. This is what he can't do. I like Vrabel, but it's not like Mike Vrabel is going to help you if you're a quarterback, right? The guy's an offensive guy. He's a, hard ass. He's not, I'm going to make you a better quarterback, son. Matt LaFleur is going to be like, I'm going to make you a better quarterback, right? Just listen to me and do what I tell you to do.
I'm not salivating just yet because most of those throws were dump offs. And when he did throw he threw one to the sideline that ended up being a touchdown. And I'm telling you, Kenny Moore was this much away from a pick six. So he really
But I'm hyping up LaFleur more so than Willis. Good coaches understand the limitations of the players that they have, right? Some coaches will throw their player out there knowing you can't do it to watch him not do it. And then say after, he's got to execute the playbook. It's like, well, maybe you got to adjust the effing playbook to him. Your Giants are the kingpins of that. Shermer was the kingpin of that, right?
Right.
Let's try to force this, square into the round hole type of deal here and blame the player for it after. Good. Look at Baker Mayfield. Went to the Rams, won a game on 2 days' notice with McVay. You can give Stefanski 2 years with him. He couldn't win. Right.
Good
you know what I mean?
Gabe.
It's just,
Bryce Young in Carolina. They're ruined.
He's another one. He didn't get a fair shot here. He's not that wasn't fair to him.
I know he's got a lot of issues, but they hung him out to dry. He was set up to fail.
But
bottom line.
Look at Sam Darnold's another example. Sam Darnold was on the Jets and on the Panthers, and he said, I learned more about quarterback play being on the Niners last year, being around Brock Purdy and Shanahan in these meetings than I did in my entire career in the NFL. Soaking this stuff up, being around the other clowns that he was around before, right? There's such a big difference. All right, Paul. So before we get you out of here, speaking of New York, what about the Jets and Patriots on Thursday night football? It's a very tricky game. Logic says, hey, the underdog is interesting here, but my sort of gut feel is that the Jets are going to cover the spread. New England have played spirited football to start the season, but speaking of defensive injuries, Jawan Bentley out, Paul. We saw the difference when he left the game last week in the interior for the Seattle Seahawks, had a lot more success suddenly. Dude, the guy had 114 tackles last year. Like, he's their best defensive player. And, they traded away Judon. So now losing Bentley's big here. I am leaning with the Jets, but I don't love laying 6, Paul. But I think the Jets win the game. What's your take?
Yeah, I don't see New England upsetting the Jets. And, they'll have a nice fan base and they'll have a home field advantage. A lot of Long Island lunatics going to the game, getting home at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's a feel-good moment for them, right, Paul? Like, you know what? We don't suck. It's Aaron Rodgers' first home game again. He got hurt last time. I said it earlier. It almost feels like the Jet fans have a good night. They drink. They beat the sports book. They go back to FanDuel in the parking lot and get their money after the game.
Yeah, and then fall asleep in the parking lot because let me tell you, you have to drive home. Man.
Well,
but anyway,
I get shows there every week, so I knew security. I asked them. I said, what do you do? What do you prefer doing, the Jets or the Giant games? And they said, the Jet games are much funner. They said it's much hotter girls at the Jet games. Said Jet fans are a lot funner. He said Giant fans are just so negative and smash bottles in the parking lot after the game.
No. Giant, listen, I've been going to Giant games for a long time. Giant fans are they are older and they have class. Jet fans have no class. I'm telling you,
Paul, let me tell you something, buddy, because we're just harassing Daniel Jones in the parking lot, Cam. I didn't think it was excessive, but let's not get carried. You're telling me to get carried. Oh, they have Giants fans have class.
Listen, they would have dragged Mark Sanchez behind a car and beat the hell out of him. Okay, so there's a big difference. A couple catcalls. It's still hard.
So look at this on the way out. NBA's coming up, and I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people, but they roll this. This is the best of X here. So these are the NBA's new jerseys.
Oh my
their new,
God, they're horrible.
Worst than ever, Cam. Paul, look at this.
What the hell is going on? I can't even, that's not even real. Is this a joke?
No, we thought baseball had jersey problems. I don't know what the hell Nike's doing.
I gotta be honest with you, the Raptors is the best one. The
Raptors is. So hold on. We have a few isolated ones. Get up the Laker one here, guys. Look at this.
Brutal.
What the hell is this? It looks like a warm-up jersey, Paul. They're going to wear this in a game.
Some kind of strip club signature.
Look at this Memphis thing. So what was this?
What the hell is the Fonz doing with the font?
That's the best thing you can come up with. Raptors are the only good one. Yeah, Raptors one is cool, I say. See? Look at that.
I agree. I'm with you, Morency. That is what district was it? Some gang font.
I like this one, too. I like this one. The district.
Yeah, it looks tough.
That's the District of Columbia. That's a Washington Wizard jersey.
You know what?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That fits Washington perfectly. Very violent font.
New jerseys in the NBA. It's like, man, these terrible stuff.
Yeah, well,
Nike stock
you know how
going
it is.
down.
They
People wonder why.
They always have to tinker with something. You can never leave well enough alone. It's just the way it is.
Horrible, man. See that Lake Show? It looks like some kind of bad strip club or something. It's awful.
The whole idea of a City Connect jersey is to make money that people will want to buy them. Nobody wants to buy these. So what's the point at some point? Make a good one.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency. Ian Cameron will join us in a couple minutes. We'll get to some college football. I see Fox has a really big game at noon this week. Ohio State, big non-conference matchup for the Buckeyes against Marshall. Good job. There's such a clown show. Like, that's why I get mad. Like, it's like, Michigan this. Yeah, whatever, dude. We played Texas. You guys played Akron. Right? We're playing USC tomorrow. You guys are playing Marshall again. Like, at what point do you play real games, Ohio? Like, seriously. Like, hey, seriously, Cam, at what point do you guys start to play real games? Like, you look at their schedule, too. It's just like cream puff, cupcake. They do go to Eugene in a couple of weeks. They go to Oregon, and they do go to Penn State. Those are their two, and they host Michigan to end the season. And who knows what Michigan will be like by the end of the season. We're going to learn a lot about Michigan on Saturday when they host the USC Trojans. It's scoreless still, LAFC and Austin FC right now.
Good baseball game,
come on,
too,
LA.
Gabe, with the Mariners and Yankees. I hope you got the under. 1-0 right now in the 6th. Great pitching duel.
No, of course. Last night I took the Mariners and I lost, so I was a little shell shocked today, Cam. I stayed awake today from this game.
Tonight. No, I don't blame you. It's they had a big over last night.
The Mariners are all but done with that loss last night. They fell a 4.5 back. It was a bad night for them, so I was like, I figured the Yankees would play, but I just sort of stayed away.
Detroit did it again, Gabe. Like Scoobel against the Royals. Like, what is going on with the Tigers, man? These guys are the real deal. They're coming through hard right now.
Let's check the updated wild card standings. The Detroit Tigers, Cam, are now a half game back of a playoff spot only.
Yeah. And the Orioles are fading hard. Like, what is happening here? They lost again tonight to the Giants. They had like bases loaded every inning, man. This team's
they're lucky, the Orioles. This is why you got to win early. They won so many games early. They got this cushion. They have a 4-game lead in the wild card, so they're going to get into the wild card. Kansas City's got a 1.5 game lead. You know what's crazy, guys? The division that we all say that sucks so much all the time is going to be in all playoffs. Like, you got Cleveland, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Detroit. Like, Kansas City are most likely getting in, and Minnesota's battling with Detroit. It's like the American League Central are all battling. And I got to tell you, too, the Yankees are secretly loving this and laughing and thinking, oh, we're going to beat these teams. But is this year different? We'll bring Babano in. Let me just get this quickly here. This is what it was today, guys. The playoff picture. Arizona versus Milwaukee. The Mets versus San Diego, which would be sick.
Ooh,
that'd be a cool series. The winner of Arizona and Milwaukee would play the Dodgers. The winner of the Mets and San Diego would play the Phillies. In the American League, the Yankees would play the winner of the Royals and the Orioles. And the Twins would play the Astros with the Guardians awaiting. That's the playoff bracket as of right now, as of tonight, coming into tonight.
I know a lot of people, like, and me included, like, we look at Milwaukee, but Arizona's fading pretty hard right now. I think Milwaukee, like, they could beat Arizona. They actually might be good for a series win. That's what I'm thinking.
I like to see it. I don't know if I like to see it because it'd be stressful, but a Mets-Dodgers playoff series would just be like next level. And the theme of the first Bad Lieutenant movie, one of this darkest degenerate gambling movies ever. Let's bring in Ian Cameron right now, a.k.a. Babano in the house. What's going on, Babano? How you doing?
Yeah, good to be with you guys. Ready for another weekend of football, CFL, NFL, and college.
Yeah, let's rock. So, what do you think of the Thursday night NFL game with the Patriots and the Jets? Tricky game.
Tricky game, but there are a lot of injuries for the Jets. Jermaine Johnson on that defense. There's a couple on that side of the football. Let's see if Reed plays this week for the Jets. And that's
Mosley
a lot of artillery.
I think Mosley is out.
And Mosley as well for the Jets. So there's some major injuries, significant pieces on that side of the football that are not going to play in this game. And then you flip it around in New England and you see where this point spread's been all week, 6.5. Well, all underdogs that have been 6 or points or more underdogs, all they've been doing this season is covering, in the National Football League. So I think New England actually makes this a competitive game. I think their defense can do enough to keep this close. The Jets have to show that ability to separate, Now, granted, they did beat Tennessee last Sunday, but I thought it was not a crisp performance. They still took a lot of penalties. I think this is a competitive game, and I'll be honest, I've been impressed with Gerard Mayo's team in the first 2 weeks. They beat Cincy. The loss to Seattle in overtime was competitive. I think we got a close AFC East matchup Thursday night, so I'll grab the points with the Patriots here.
I hate this game.
So do I.
I'm just going to be real. Like, coming in, I know it's one of these. I'm not a fan of either team. The point spread is so bang on. I agree. Listen, I've been on the Patriots. I was on the Patriots bandwagon last week. I ended up getting the push, but they have injuries too. Bentley's out on the defensive side of the football. He's their leading tackler last year. That's going to be a big loss, and their offense is a little challenged. I can see Breece Hall getting it going a bit, and Aaron Rodgers started to get more comfortable last week against Tennessee. I just don't trust Nate Hackett. So I'll be on full disclosure. I'm going to tease this game. I'm going to attack it. I'm not going to go crazy from a unit perspective. I think we can get to the over here, just because the total is so light, right? So, the Patriots are only giving up 17 points a game. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking like 24-13. Personally, I'm thinking like 24-13 Jets or something, but it's not a contest pick for me. Put it this way, guys. I was sort of trying to talk myself into, you know what? Like you just said, Babano, all these freaking 6.5-point underdogs are covering and winning the game outright for the most part, even. Yeah. So I was like, with the points that they're getting, the defense that they play, run the ball with Stevenson. You can sort of hang around. But my gut, it's just sort of this, you know what? The Jets are going to pull away and end up covering. I just sort of feel it here. Like, where the Patriots are competitive, but like I said, we can't take them every week. It's a short week on the road for them. But then you get the Jets playing their third game in 11 days. And, the two of them have been on the road. The Jets have traveled. I was thinking about it tonight. These guys have traveled like over 7,000 miles. It's a lot.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency, the Pittsburgh players, the hustlers, the people who bust them, and everybody else in between. Still scoreless in Los Angeles right now with LAFC and Austin FC. Some MLS soccer as I was going to say their regular season winds down. It kind of is, but the MLS regular season, man, is long.
Too long. Too long.
I don't even know what I was going to say. It's like 10 months or something. Like they start.
Ridiculous.
They start in the winter and they end in the winter. Like they literally start in like February, March, Cam, and then the championship is in December.
You're right.
That's
Remember
true.
We played the Sounders,
like they play all summer long, and then the MLS Cup is like December 21st, Cam. Yeah, remember in Toronto, there's snow and ice on the field. They're playing soccer. Everyone's like,
I know these guys.
The ball was like a thing of ice.
Yes,
and
the
of course,
Mexican guys on the team
ball
like,
was so hard. Yeah, but I remember that TFC played against Seattle once in the MLS Cup, and it was in Toronto. And it was so cold, and the ball was so hard, like it went so slow, so it was scoreless. And then it went to extra time, so like people were freezing, and the game was like 3 hours, guys, because it went to penalty kicks after. And then Toronto, of course, lost, like at home. I'll never forget that because there was a UFC card that night. It was John Jones versus Gustafsson, and I went to the UFC. And I went to that bar, Real Sports, which is connected to the arena in Toronto. And I had a lot of money on the MLS Cup. And I missed the UFC. I literally missed the UFC card because of the MLS game went on so long. And I was like, oh, I'll go in a minute. I'll go in a minute. I'll go in a minute. And by the time the MLS game was over, there was like 2 fights left on the card. So I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'll just watch it in a bar here. Like I never went in. Like after. That's happened to me a few times. I did that at MSG once. I went to the UFC at MSG, and I ended up like missing like all of it, most of it. All right, so Ian Cameron in the house with us. I wanted to get to some college football, but still scoreless right now in Los Angeles. I was going to say Seattle are up 2-1 on San Jose right now, so we just need a goal from LA. Salt Lake are up 3-1 on Dallas, and 2-0 for the Timbers over the LA Galaxy. Timber. Quickly, let me just check in with the WNBA. I guess now there's still a game going on right now, so it's not fully wrapped up yet. But we do have futures for the WNBA. The playoffs start this weekend, guys. And the New York Liberty are favorites, even though the Aces are the 2-time champions. I'm seeing plus 135 for the Liberty now, plus 250 for the Aces. Minnesota Lynx plus 300. Connecticut Sun 950. Caitlin Clark and the Fever 20-1. Seattle Storm 25-1. Phoenix Mercury 100-1. Atlanta Dream 250-1. Washington Mystics 500-1. What's your pick, Cam? Who's winning? Yeah, they're not winning.
Not the Mystics. I want to take the Lynx. I want something good to happen to Minnesota with the Timberwolves kind of.
The Lynx are good, bro. The Lynx
they're
are good.
Playing really. No, you're right. And the thing is, they're peaking at the right time. I just wish we got a little bit more with the Lynx. But the T-Wolves to Lynx, yeah, I kind of like the Lynx. Another mountain cat there. Wow.
Babano, you have a WNBA future for us here?
Yeah. What do you got, Babano?
I do not. Someone would have to give it to me for me to have a WNBA future.
Somebody give it to me.
Come on, Babano. You don't have a WNBA guy?
What about
golf
New York?
guy?
I think New York's pretty good. Give me them. New York's pretty good.
Yeah, they are very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Indiana will play Connecticut.
They're going to
lose. The Fever will play the Sun. It'll be a close series, that series, though. It'll be really close. Right. They just played a couple of times. I watched them. The Aces and the Storm. The Aces and the Storm. The Lynx get the Phoenix Mercury. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the WNBA playoffs. Hopefully they put them on at smart times. Like, just play on Tuesday. They should just wait. I don't know why you're starting on Sunday. Like, you know what? To be like, listen, Tuesday and Wednesdays, there's not a lot going on. Like, let's make that our night here when the NFL is going on. Like, seriously. It doesn't mean you only play then, but you just sort of say, that's sort of our chunk, Cam. You know, that's our core nights here. We'll have an early game, 2 games on, you know what I mean? 3 games and whatever, 4 games a night. Boom, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock,
guys,
Tuesday and Wednesdays. Because people are looking,
games at night. That's the thing.
People are looking for stuff to bet on. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Well, getaway days. The baseball season's ending next weekend.
Yeah,
they're going to be in the playoffs.
But
they should focus in on the Tuesdays and Wednesdays as their core nights. But you know they won't, and they'll probably be playing head-to-head with the NFL all the time and the NBA.
Probably.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. The Wicked Wednesday continues. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159 of the SportsGrid Radio and Television Networks. Ian Cameron in the house with us right now. So, but Banner, before we get to college football and the big games on the card, what do you think about the Thursday night or tomorrow night? South Alabama getting 7.5 at App State. The total is 62.5 right now.
Yeah, I have not been impressed with App State, and that was close call, but we snuck out a point spread cover against them last week with East Carolina. The offense hasn't been clicking. The defense has been the problem, though. I mean, they've really struggled. The Clemson game, they got ripped apart. I think if East Carolina just finishes drives and doesn't turn it over, they score a lot more points, but they move the ball against App State. That's not a defense I want to lay more than a touchdown with, but the problem is South Alabama is pretty rough and sketchy on defense. Remember, they lost their head coach, Kane Womack, who was a great defensive mind, that they lost a lot of production on that side of the ball. It's not been the same defense this year. With all due respect to the first 2 opponents South Alabama's played, App State's probably the best offense they've played. So I lean to the dog, but I like the total even more. I think it's a high-scoring affair. South Alabama is also playing much faster, tempo-wise, this year. In terms of plays per minute, they're top 20 in college football this season. And Gio Lopez is a solid quarterback. I've liked what I've seen from him so far this season. So I think that game can get up and over the total, sitting at around, 62.5, 63 right now.
South Alabama got carved up for 52 in the season opener against North Texas. Then they lost 27-20 at Ohio against the Bobcats. And then last week, of course, they hung 87 points on the board. And they didn't even finish the game. They scored 87 points against Northwestern State. They were laying 37. and you didn't get paid for the game. Some books paid, but some didn't because it didn't go 55 minutes. They tapped out. They just said, all right, this is ridiculous. So they agreed to stop the game. So there should be, like Babano said, there should be a ton of points scored in this football game. You look at App State, they got absolutely lit up against Clemson. Clemson were in a bad mood after the Georgia game, 66-20. But they hung 38 on East Tennessee State. As Babano said, they escaped last week. I don't trust them laying the points here either, Babano. For me, it's just the over in this football game.
The problem with South Alabama, I'll probably grab a little bit of South Alabama at more than 7, but the defense is still very weak for the Jaguars, and it's not close to what it was last year. I do worry about that for them, that they could lose by 10 because they just don't get enough stops.
One thing with college football, you don't want to overthink things. You know, it seems kind of easy. All right, we'll take the over here, but it will be a track meet at 62.5. We were talking about Tennessee and Oklahoma. The total's 57.5 points. Tennessee averaged 63 points a game, right? All three of their games have gone over the number just because they just keep on scoring. But we got some interesting games on Friday night. You got Stanford and Syracuse, conference rivals now. This is ridiculous. Stanford's got to go to freaking Syracuse, New York.
You're right,
ACC
man.
matchup.
Conference game, Cam. Yeah, like it's ridiculous.
Gone too far. You went too far.
You're flying from San Francisco to freaking Rochester, I guess, and then like
that's a tough place to get to too.
Like,
you're so
brutal.
right. People don't know. Like Syracuse is like
you got the Cal at Florida State. Cal at Florida State. Like, here's another like conference. That game's actually getting pretty funny on Twitter, as Cal fans are trolling like Florida State. Like Cal are like basically saying you're going to lose to a bunch of woke ass. Like we're woke, we're California. So like they have all these like there's all kinds of memes like they're taunting them. Everything's got to be about politics now, but pretty funny. And Florida State are 2.5 point favorites against Cal, actually. But okay, so Friday night though, guys, as I mentioned, you got the Syracuse game, but you got a really interesting one in the Big Ten here with Illinois and Nebraska. There were some 9s out there, but it's down to 7.5 now. Nebraska are like 7.5. I thought 9 was too high. And you got Washington State guys coming off the Big Apple Cup win, hosting the San Jose State Spartans on Friday night. But Bano, what's your take on the Friday night games?
Yeah, I lean Stanford in the over. I actually lean Stanford's going to be a nice dog. They covered against TCU. They're backdoor covering type of team from an offensive standpoint with Ashton Dan. I think their offense is actually quite good. What does concern me, though, is, look, Kyle McCord's been lighting it up for Syracuse. And the secondary for Stanford got abused by Josh Hoover and TCU in that passing attack in the first game. So that does concern me. But I still lean to the points. This is another one where I like the over a bit more than the dog, but I'd lean Stanford still. Illinois, Nebraska, I've been passing on the side. I think that game stays under. I think there's a reason that game is as low as it is in the 40s. It's a run-first offense here for Illinois. I'm not sure their offense is going to – Nebraska's defense looks legit. Looks really, really good this year for Matt Rule. And if this hits 7, I'm going to lay it with Nebraska. I'm not sure Illinois is good. I don't know yet. I know they had the win against Kansas. How good does that look now when Kansas lost to UNLV at home last week? So, I'm not sure how good Illinois is. I don't trust Luke Altmaier, their quarterback, necessarily on the road here against a defense like this in this kind of atmosphere either. So if it gets lower, I'm going to be interested in Nebraska. And then San Jose State, Washington State. Look, San Jose State's 3-0 against the spread. People thought they were going to be bad. They've surpassed expectations. They've covered the number easily. And Washington State's coming off the Apple Cup win against Washington. And they've been impressive, and they've covered every game so far as well. But it's not a great spot for the Cougars. I think you can make a case for San Jose State with all those points in that game. I'd lean over there as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm going to bring that up next week with Paul Bovey and ask him if he's got a San Jose State Spartan under-season win total under his pillow still. If you recall, Cam, we talked about them because I remember there was the first game of the year, and I said San Jose State's going to beat Cal Sacramento State. I said it's an overreaction. Right. Everybody jumped on Sacramento State, and I noticed too, Babano. Listen, he's a good coach, but what's interesting is
San Jose State. He's playing well, really well.
But also, exactly, no, he throws bullets, and they don't run they're not running the Navy stuff. They're running like a run and shoot type of offense. Yep. So it's an interesting dynamic, and they're pretty good. Like I said, like this might be a tricky spot for Washington State, who have greatly exceeded expectations. Let's just call it out for what it is. I mean, this team to start the season, they've been rolling teams. They beat Presbyterian 70-30. The Texas Tech win, very impressive, 37-16. Nice 24-19 win in the Apple Cup. But this San Jose State team, guys, going back to last year, they're actually 9-1 straight up in their last 10 football games.
They're good.
Like they've got like a winning sort of vibe going to them about them. They made the coaching change, but they're also 8-2 against the spread in their last 10. It's kind of a trappish type of game for Wazoo on Friday night.
And
I'm intrigued with the 12 as well.
Yeah, Mateer's played really well, too, for Washington State. Can run, he can throw. He can run, like, really well, that guy. Very impressive. But it is a tricky spot. You just beat Washington. It was a down-to-the-wire game. Washington beat him last year. Washington State got him back last week. It just definitely feels like it's a tricky spot to ask Washington State to be at their best and be able to win by 2 touchdowns or more against, look, a San Jose State team that's been totally undervalued from day one in the betting markets this year.
USC are now 5.5-point favorites in Michigan. This is one of these insane type of movements from the offseason numbers, the advanced line. Michigan were 10.5-point favorites in the offseason in this game. And you could bet it because it was one of the games of the year, right? So it was listed. Michigan were 10.5-point favorites. Now they're 5.5-point underdogs against the USC Trojans. Should be noted that USC did play in Vegas, but it was a neutral field game. And let's be real, LA and Vegas, LA is like a suburb of Los Angeles essentially now. So it wasn't a true road game for them. And then they hosted Utah State, right? Now they're coming off the bye week. So this is their first real road game of the season. We'll hit this game. We'll give Abano's thoughts on the other side. We'll get into some CFL as well. The USC Trojans laying 5.5 here. Michigan make the quarterback change. Alex Orji has been named the starting quarterback against the USC Trojans.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10+ points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below-average quarterback with a below-average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. So yeah, Cal are playing. You got Cal playing at FSU this week, and they already beat Auburn. It was funny, after they beat Auburn, they took out like some billboards in like Georgia, around Atlanta, and Alabama, and different like SEC cities about you're welcome for beating beating Auburn, and it had like ACC versus SEC stuff. So there's a little bit of enthusiasm around Cal right now, which you can't say ever, right? I saw like people, like I said, they're in a little Twitter war right now with Florida State, and people are kidding. They're like, all 7 Cal fans are coming hard right now this week. But if Cal wins this game at FSU, it'll become real for them, where you have to take notice. They go and they beat an SEC team on the road. They go and now if they beat Florida State on the road, Cal's schedule is pretty hard though, so you got to, reality will kick in. But what's your pick, Babano, for USC in the Michigan game?
Wow, because look, it's hard to trust Michigan against a solid opponent after what we saw against Texas. It's hard to trust Michigan's offense, period. But they did make the change. Now, at Ann Arbor this weekend, they'll be hosting an Orgy. Alex Orgy now back at quarterback for them, and it can't be worse than what we saw from Davis Warren, because Davis Warren looked just overmatched, especially even the Arkansas State game, that's a defense that you opened the door for him to finally get comfortable, find his footing, have some success through the air, and it just didn't happen. And that's alarming. It was enough for Sharon Moore to make the change. Can only be a positive. It is the first road game for USC. I do think DeAnton Lynn is truly making me a believer as defensive coordinator. They do look like a better defense. They played great against LSU. They shut out Utah State. But this is still the first road game. I don't trust Michigan enough. I'm not running to take USC, but I would lean USC right here, laying the points.
We'll see if USC can stop the run.
Yeah,
it's just going to be point blank, right? Michigan need to establish the run and not fall behind, and we'll see if Alex Orgy, if they can work in a couple of throws. Right, he's been on the team for a couple of years, so I'm surprised he wasn't named the starter to begin with. So it's kind of alarming now that they're making the change. As you stated, like I said, the speed of the game was just a bit too much for Warren. Like, it was asking too much. He doesn't have enough experience to be thrown into this at that level, and it was catching up to them. So I agree with the quarterback change, but I think they're going to be able to run the ball. And like I said, if USC, it's all about how USC handles this moment, right? It's not easy to go into the big house. They're not used to it. It's not a traditional road game for them. There's a lot at stake here. Like, Michigan's season's on the line. Michigan lose this game, their season's done. Like, it's going to blow up on them. They win this game, and suddenly they're back. They're back in the mix, and things can start to get interesting again. Such a huge game. Stakes are so high. The other massive one is Tennessee and Oklahoma this week. Similar situations where you have Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's playing their first ever SEC game, and USC's playing their first ever Big Ten game. So, there's a different type of level to this type of stuff. And then you got Josh Heupel coming in here, and he, it didn't end on a very good way there. So this is a massive, just sort of personal vendetta type of game for Josh Heupel. So much so Stoops isn't doing interviews this week because Stoops is a Heupel guy. So he doesn't want to get caught up in the crossfire here of Heupel coming back with Tennessee. Tennessee scoring 63 points a game, guys. This Vols offense is arguably the best offense in the country. Oklahoma are going to be up against it to stop these guys. It's going to be a fun football game on Saturday night. What's your pick there, Babano?
This one, look, I'm laying it with Tennessee. It kind of bothers me that we got these two marquee games, and I don't really love the home dog in either one, the Michigan game or the Oklahoma. In fact, I like this road favorite even more. Like, I'm on the fence with USC. This one,
I think Michigan have a better chance than Oklahoma because Michigan can run the ball. Oklahoma's going to have to score like 45 points to keep up with these guys.
Their defense is excellent, Oklahoma, but they haven't seen anything like this. And they're going to see Nico Iamaleava's been great. They can run the ball. He can run it. They can throw it. The O-line is loaded for Tennessee, can offset what Oklahoma has with that good defense. And this Oklahoma offense has been bad. Let's call it out for what it was. The Houston game was not good. The Tulane game was not good. Jackson Arnold has to show me that he's the next great Oklahoma. The offensive line's the biggest issue for Oklahoma. They have really struggled to run the football. They've really struggled to protect at times for Jackson Arnold. And I think stepping up in class, it is in Norman, but this Tennessee team has impressed me so far. And if they fall behind by 2 touchdowns or more, I don't know if they've got the offense to come back from what I've seen so far for the Sooners. So I like the road favorite here, Tennessee. I'm definitely impressed with what I've seen from the Vols.
I think we're at the time of the year now in college football, too, where we're getting into week 4 or 5, whatever, for these teams. And the offenses are going to start to really flow, right? Like there's sort of, before the bad weather comes, there's sort of this peak over season. I kind of get the feeling it's this weekend in college football. And, I might be walking into a big trap, guys, but I'm going over 57.5 in that Oklahoma and Tennessee game. Cam, you got a college football game you want to hit?
Yeah, I don't know. Gabe, I got to tell you, though, I'm going to tell you that them beating Houston by 4 points. I know every team has a bad spot, but that's concerning. Like, look at Houston, how bad they are, too. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Babano there. Tennessee. Babano, well, let's talk about NC State and Clemson. I want to get your opinion on this. NC State had the backup quarterback in. He played great in the second half in that game. What do you think about Clemson? They're laying 20.5, total 46. You got an opinion on that one?
Believe it or not, I'd lay it with Clemson. I think NC State's just a disaster right now. Their offensive line's in shambles. Grayson McCall's injured. I didn't see enough from C.J. Bailey against a very weak Louisiana Tech defense at home that makes me think, wow, he's going to really light up Clemson's defense. And look, I'm not high on Clemson. I'm not rushing to lay the points, but I think NC State's almost unbackable. They've underachieved. They didn't look good against Western Carolina. They got destroyed by Tennessee. They struggled against Louisiana Tech, didn't sniff a cover, barely won the game straight up. Now you got to play Clemson on the road. That's not easy. I'd lay it, honestly. I don't want NC State here.
I think you're going to see Clemson just murder teams as well. I think Dabo's got a massive chip on his shoulder. They got lit up by Georgia, and people have really buried them. But I think they're still a good football team. We saw what they did at App State, hanging the 66 on them.
There's going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Ravens starting their season 0-2, and I mean the numbers and where the market had eyeing this team heading into this season is probably almost up in flames at this point.
Their last however many games being down 10 plus points in the fourth quarter, inability to close out, getting picked apart by what is largely considered a below average quarterback with a below average receiving core.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Man, Austin FC are up 1-0 on LA right now. There's still a lot of soccer left. We're in the 54th minute, but nevertheless, Austin scored late in the first half of this match. All right, so before we get Babano out of here, quickly, Babano, we've got CFL football. Friday night, Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Toronto Argonauts. The Argos are laying 7 now. The total's 53.5. The Rough Riders are 2.5-point road favorites. Lost 4 in a row at Calgary on Friday night. What are your thoughts? Who do you like on Friday night football, Babano?
Well, Hamilton-Toronto should be a fun game. Of course, Hamilton, we've beaten the Argos twice already. Those were in Hamilton, though, this time in Toronto, but they're 3-0 against the number since Chris Jones became the defensive coordinator. And all of a sudden, he becomes the DC. They're forcing turnovers galore, which they couldn't do before. So, and Bo Levi Mitchell's clicking. I mean, it's a lot of points to be laying with Toronto in that game. It kind of does feel like Toronto's got this game circled, though, right? Like they owe Hamilton one for beating them twice. So that does worry me a little bit. And they did get well against BC last week, the Argos and Kelly. So I'll lean Hamilton. I don't love it. The game I really like from a betting standpoint on Friday is Saskatchewan. I think this is the spot for Saskatchewan. Time to get back in the win column. To me, Calgary's probably the worst team in the league right now. They're playing like it. I know they gave Montreal a game last week, but the thing with Calgary is they need to run the football, and Saskatchewan's defensive strength is the run. They're good against the run. Their secondary is not great, but can Jake Mayer exploit that? I'm not so sure. Off a bye week, there's a lot of frustration, anger, focus, intensity in Saskatchewan's practice. They know they got to, get off the schneid. 6-1 the last 7. But look at the losses, guys. 5-point loss, 4-point loss, 3-point loss, 2-point loss. I mean, they've been right there in every game. One play here, one play there. It's a different result. They're 7-5 now instead of 5-7. They win some of these close games. I think this is the week Saskatchewan finally gets it done, wins a close game. They're the better team. I still think they're better than Calgary. So Saskatchewan, for me, money line there.
Cam, what's your pick for the New York Jets and the New England Patriots tomorrow night?
Gabe, you got me sold now. I originally liked New England, but I have a feeling the Jets are going to score late and win this game by 13. So I lean Jets, and I think the game might be higher scoring than people think too. I'm actually going to do a teaser to the Jets and the over as well. I'll take the Jets, and maybe we get there, but I prefer it from a teaser perspective, and I will also take the Jets.
I do think the New York Jets will end up covering the spread tomorrow. I'm not in love with laying 6 points with them. Everybody knows how I feel about Nate Hackett, but I think New England will just be a little bit offensively challenged as the game goes on to keep up. A field goal here, a touchdown there by the Jets. And I really do think the Bentley injury is going to hurt the Patriots. I like Hall tomorrow a lot. I think Hall, there's all the talk going to be about Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. And it's going to be a super annoying Aaron Rodgers love fest on TV all day tomorrow. But I think Hall is someone to take a look at over 62.5 rush yards. So that's what it is right now. I'm going to go with Hall over 62.5.
For me, it's Ramondre Stevenson over rushing and receiving yards. The usage is off the charts for Stevenson in this offense under Gerard Mayo. I think he'll be used in the passing game. I think he'll be used running the football quite a bit, take pressure off Jacoby Brissett here in this game on the road. First road game, too, take pressure off him. I think Ramondre Stevenson props, especially that one, over rushing and receiving yards, I like quite a bit.
The total is 38 right now. So if you 7-point tease this thing, you get it down to 31 and a half. I think they're going to get into the mid-30s. I think the number is a pretty sharp one and a pretty accurate one. So 1-0 Austin still right now. There's about 30 minutes left in this game. As far as Major League Baseball is concerned, we got a close one going on in the Pacific Northwest still. 1-0 for the Yankees. The Yankees are now minus 425. We're in the top of the 8th inning with 1 out. You got plus 310 on the Mariners. The in-game total right now, guys, is 2.5 for the hardcore DJs looking for a little inning action on the way out. And the Seattle Sounders are doing their part. They're up 2-1 late on San Jose still, but not looking great for our LA Seattle parlay. I need LAFC to step up and score not 1 but 2 goals in the next 30 minutes, which can happen. We've seen it happen in the past, but it's not an ideal situation. So tomorrow night we're going to be on at 8 o'clock Eastern. New York Jets, New England Patriots, in-game live game day, NFL edition. We'll have all kinds of guests. It's going to be on SiriusXM channel 159 and on YouTube tomorrow night. SportsGrid On Demand YouTube page. It is free. So go to YouTube and subscribe. You'll get the alert when we come on tomorrow night. at 8 o'clock. We'll have a ton of picks before kickoff as well. And, of course, we'll be with you on Sunday night for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons as well. Other than that, you're